Ken Kreitzer, Cam Vets Media. We have a chance to talk to Army linebacker, senior captain Kalib Fortner. And Kalib, it was sort of a down at East Carolina, like two games. It was the first quarter and then the rest of the game. Maybe you could address the first quarter. It seemed like East Carolina came out with a lot of energy. They scored quickly. What was really the challenge in containing the energy they had in the first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a challenge to get kind of acclimated to their tempo. I think they were like the fourth fastest team in college football right now. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, momentum's a big thing. And, they had all the momentum, all the energy early. And, we couldn't climb out of that hole, even though we played a really good game, second, third, and fourth quarter. That first quarter really hurt us as a team. And, when a team has that energy and that momentum, they can continue to build on it. And, with missed assignments on the defense and just some really good plays by their guys, we found ourselves, in that 21-0 start. So it's hard to do that.
But the second quarter, the second half, you held them scoreless defensively. What did you do better? What started to click?
I think the biggest thing that started to click for us was just having cleaner eyes and then tackling the football. We missed a lot of tackles within those 21 points. And, in order to be a good defense this year and be a good unit, we have to, make the tackle. You can't have three missed tackles on the same play. And, a yak is another big thing. Yards after contact, we have to stop the ball carrier right there. And so I think we just did that better. And, we got them into, some fourth downs where they felt comfortable enough to go for it. And, we were able to, get them off the field.
And just a little bit about you and Andon had 13 tackles, you had 11. But tell us about the other guys. Gavin Shields had 8, Casey Larkin 7, Stephen Nardozzi 5, and Cole Seawright got his name at the top of the tackle list with 4. Tell us about some of the players that contributed.
Yeah, I think we're starting to build that depth like we talked about earlier in the year. The guys that are stepping in and making plays. It's great to see, and it's helping them with their confidence when their number gets called to go in. And so it's good to see them make plays.
And just on the guys, tell us about the guys up front: Jacob Tuioti, Jack Bowsam, Jack Latour. They all were making plays in the game. How did you feel the guys up front were doing?
I feel like they're doing a really good job. I think as a team, as a unit, what we got to do a better job of is, getting to the quarterback. We can't let them, just sit back there in a rocking chair and, patting the football until somebody gets open. So that's something we got to get better on as a team. But I think, ultimately those guys up front that you just mentioned are doing a great job for us, and they got to continue to do so, especially within the run game.
Hey, just talking about UAB, they're 2-2 wins over Alabama State, Akron, lost to Navy, and number 15 Tennessee. They're a big offensive team. They like to pass the ball. From what we can see, they're averaging 320 yards passing, 117 rushing. What do you see in the film on UAB?
I see a really good quarterback. I think it's a second-year guy for him. I see a lot of good receivers still. That's a lot of talent that I'm not sure that return, but it's a lot of talent that they have. Have a good track record. I remember last year their receiver core was really good, and then their running back, he runs it hard. It's going to be a good challenge for us. Their offensive line is really big, pretty stout, and they're, like you said, they like to pass the ball and they do it well. So we got to figure out how to stop that.
Well, quarterback Jalen Kitten, 108 of 105, 8 touchdowns, 314 yards a game. Looks like quite a good quarterback. Do you feel like, does he run or does he just run and pass?
Oh, I think I haven't seen much film where he runs it, but I remember from last year playing him, he's not afraid to run it, and he's a hard runner when he does. So, hopefully we can contain him and just continue to get him to pass the ball and hopefully make some plays on the pass.
Hey, just as a captain, how do you lead your team? After you've had 2 tough losses, how do you get them ready to play again this week?
As a captain, I don't think I have to do anything more or anything different. Just continue to preach to the guys that, the game honors toughness, but the victory circle honors the most disciplined, tough team. And that's what you're not seeing out of Army football this year. We're not being disciplined. Making too many mistakes, too many costly mistakes, and we know how to win. We did a lot of that last year, so we got to continue to be tough and fight all the way through like we have been, but we got to be more disciplined. That's what I've been preaching.
Very good, Kev. We got some guys online.
Hey, Caleb, Ken McNaught from The Record.
What's up, Ken?
Not too much. Hey, Caleb, you were just talking about improving as the game went on the other day. Is it a matter of just solo tackling techniques, or did you guys just do a better job of getting more helmets to the ball, better pursuit from your teammates?
I'd say it's a combination of both, Ken. I think watching that film, I think we did a good job of rallying to the football, which is something we take pride in as a defense. But I think guys are finally starting to use the fundamentals and the technique that we practice every day out here on the practice field, and finally putting it to use out there on the second, and third, and fourth quarter. So that was good.
You just mentioned about playing Kitna again. How comfortable, or does it make it easier having faced a quarterback before when you face them again the following year?
I don't really think so. I think every year you improve, you get better, and I've seen that out of Kidna so far watching the film. So I'm excited to play him again, and there might be some tendencies that I'll remember, and watching the film that'll hold true. But I'm just excited to get to play him again. He's a good quarterback.
And last thing, Caleb, you guys are in a difficult position, and I can feel the emotion of how exasperating it must be. But how do you not beat yourself up and just stick to the mission? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that we're only a few turnovers away from being 3-1. It's easy to say that looking back in the rearview mirror, but you can't beat yourself up on things that happened in the past. You can only move forward and get better, and I think we're doing a good job of that in practice. And I think we're just harping on the fundamentals and the team effort, team talents we have, and we're just getting better.
Thanks, Caleb.
Hey Caleb, it's Sal from Black Knight Nation. Hope you're well.
Hey, Sal, how you doing?
Good. A question about your mindset, and if after even a game like East Carolina, are you watching more film? Are you talking to the guys more about what you guys can do to get it right through 4 quarters? What's kind of your mindset right now?
I think my mindset right now, and after the game, I think I'm just preaching execution. That's the lack of right now. Catching the football, tackling the football, sustaining blocks, getting off blocks. It's just execution we got to get better at. And so that's where my mindset's at right now. How do we get better at executing the fundamentals that we practice every single day out here, and letting that translate to big time moments in big time stadiums. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's what I'm preaching to the guys. Is just every rep, every opportunity you get on the practice field, execute, capitalize. That's what I'm preaching.
Are you a guy that spends a lot of time watching film, and are you watching extra, or are you a guy that watches and then wants to see it happen on the practice field?
I'm not watching any extra film. I'm doing exactly my mode of operation hasn't changed this sophomore year, but I think what we have to do is that film that we watch and that we practice against, it's got to translate. For me in particular, I cut three loose. And he got a touchdown. And that's not a lack of watching film. That's just having disciplined eyes and executing my assignment. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm not watching anything more. It's just doing what I know to do, how to do better. And so I think that's what I'm doing.
Last one. Can the effort and the play that you had from the second to fourth quarter at East Carolina, can it follow you guys to UAB? Is that something that you can say, okay, look what we did for 3 quarters, now let's do it for a complete game?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to follow us, Sal. We're not going to leave it here in the locker room. It's got to follow us. We played pretty good defensively, second, third, and fourth, and that's got to be the same case through 4 quarters this time. And I think it will be. We had a good day of practice today.
I appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Sal.
Anything else for Caleb? I think we're all set. Thanks, Caleb.
Thanks.